to Creativity with Don Allen Third Live. We're going to be finally streaming to YouTube, doing live streaming. So we're using the app Procreate Dreams. I got my iPad mirroring over to the desktop so you can see what I'm doing on here. This is a brand new illustration app. Well, I guess it's like it got a huge new update. It's an animation app. And today we're going to be working on animation reference. But just to kind of show you real quick here, if you look kind of closely at this scene, you can see all the layers that we have. So you can see that there was like a layer here for even just like, we have like the flip book. I first kind of like try to map out where the bird's motion was. So this was kind of just like going through each frame, kind of just seeing where things are at. Then we had like another frame in there. Here was the actual reference footage somewhere in here. Let me hide that drawing. Let me hide this drawing. So you can see over here that we have like our environment. I think I have the opacity set really low, but the idea is pretty simple. You can kind of combine different types of animation styles and make really cool things inside of Procreate Dreams. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So I don't know if it's successfully recording right now, but we'll at least figure it out. So yeah, let's get right to it. So what we're going to be working with today is some reference footage I just shot a few minutes ago. Had this idea. So let's go ahead and start off with a brand new thing. I'm going to make a new canvas and we're going to make this for social media. So it's going to be kind of a 4K social media post. And we're going to start off with an empty track. Now, what's cool in Procreate Dreams is you could choose to animate horizontally or vertically. I think for my sake, I might just choose horizontal for now, but we can always adjust that later. And then what we're going to do here on YouTube, I'm just going to get my microphone set up, is we're going to start off and kind of bring in our reference footage. So if I go to the plus button here and then click on new photo, it opens up our camera roll. And what I wanted to pull up was where is it? I just took the video a second ago. It's weird. I don't see it. I don't see it in my reference. Um, recently saved? No. Hmm. Let me airdrop it to myself one more time. Maybe that will do it. I have some footage that I shot, very simple, of myself as the animation reference. And I'm just going to airdrop that now to my iPad. There it goes. Should be sending over now. This is the footage. It's just me leaning in and looking around. Very simple. We're going to come up with a few key poses based off this footage and then how we would animate between them the good old fashioned way. I'm going to send this. Actually, can I do that split screen effect? How do I split screen this? So if I put this over, I forgot how to split screen. So if we have this footage here and I go to video, there it is. And then we can bring that in here and then hit check. Okay, great. So we have this footage. I'm going to mute the audio on it. We don't really need audio for this particular effect. So just go to the audio layer and mute it. Oh, that doesn't mute. I guess you have to long press on it, track options, highlight. I don't know. How do you turn off the audio? All right. Well, regardless, it seems to be working fine. And what we're going to do is kind of just find the exact setting that you would want to draw on the few frames. So I see a few different key poses here, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now I have it set to 12 frames a second. If that's too many frames, we can always drop the number of frames even lower. So if we go to the preferences, we have the timeline, even project settings, it's set to 12 frames a second. I like to sometimes work at 8 frames a second. So if we set this to my 8 frames, it gets a little bit more choppy. But I think this might be interesting. So let's say, that's one pose there. Pose two, yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6. Maybe I'll go all the way here. So maybe I see 6 key poses. So on these keyframes, what we're going to do essentially is illustrate on them and make them happen. So I'm just going to pull up my frame right here, make sure we're on a good spot. I want to make sure the live stream is actually happening. I don't know how to test that here. Don't stream to YouTube that often. Let's see if that's working. Okay, it's definitely working on YouTube. Great. Okay, so we got our key poses, right? So we found some moments in time. Now what I'm gonna do is create a new layer and we're gonna make a flip book. Okay, so on the flipbook layer, this gives you the opportunity to kind of go through frame by frame and figure out where you want things to be. What I like to sometimes do, just for the sake of this kind of step, is I might convert the footage that I have to a flipbook. And what this does is it essentially lets us like draw all over it. So if I go to edit flipbook, now every single frame in here is, saved in a sense. And so what I might do is go in and find the keyframes that are poses that I want. So maybe this one is one. I'm gonna make a new layer. Oops, not a new frame. I'm gonna make a new layer right here and just do a little doodle. Also, I'm gonna lower the opacity in a moment, but for now, let's just do. This is gonna be frame one that I'm gonna be working on. Let's do two, and then I think entering in on here would be a good frame three. And that's a good frame four. That's a good frame five. Great. So I have five key poses that will kind of start the animation. I'm going to uncheck this layer. And now you can kind of see where those drawings need to be. Great, right? So you can see them in time. And what we can do is hold these key poses for longer or shorter. So if you go to the edges here, we can drag this out so that the one holds for that long. We want pose two to hold for this long. We want pose three to hold for however long it is before we can see the frame four. And same idea, grab the frame here. And we're just going to drag it out on the edges. So you give it a single tap on the side, and then we kind of just drag out the edge. And then for frame five, I don't know how long to hold it for. For now, just add a few more frames. So if we've done this correctly, we now get this: one, two, three, four, and five. Great. Now what we got to do is replace that drawing with a real drawing. So I'll start off and kind of grab my sketchy brush. I'm going to grab maybe like an outlining pen and make sure it's turned on so we can still see the layer. And on this layer, make the brush a little bit thinner. I'm just going to start off by outlining the general forms that I will need to make. So this will be like fingers. I'm just kind of doing like the bare minimum for now. Pose two is going to be a hand going like this. Fingers kind of collapsed over. Great. And then pose three, it's going to be hand is kind of in the same spot. The fingers shift a little bit. I think this app is like $25 on whatever platform, iOS. And I'm just doing the most simple forms for now. We can always add the details later, but it's more important, at least at this stage, just to get the ideas across. So this is where the ear would be. I don't even know if I'm going to be the character that's in it, but for now, I just want to kind of get where the eye position is and the eyebrow, mouth, nose, great. And then I'll just do my head shape roughly. Okay, and then shoulder, just a couple lines there, and an arm, watch. So now we have this kind of drawing here. So now you can already see like, one, two, three, right? So you can already kind of see what the animation is going to look like. Now we're going to go to frame four and do the same thing. So looks like the hand is a little adjusted. We got a little bit more of the knuckle this way. Fingers are kind of going around over there. I'm using an Apple Pencil right now, which is fine. I can't see what's on that screen, I am streaming on YouTube right now. If you want to join me over there, you might be able to see stuff a little bit better. All right, so it's going to get this finger over there. Erase a little bit of that. Bring this guy over here and around. Just adding just a little details that will help my brain understand what is happening in the animation. It's an arm. Okay, so the eye changes direction here. So we have, if we look at the eye position, kind of goes down this way, and then the eyebrow kind of changes direction as well. The nose changes directions, jawline, beard, and then face, hairline, and then the ear, as well as outfit. Don't know if I'm going to use this outfit for the final, but just want to put these markers in for now. These markers help us understand the shape of the movement. Okay. And then let's go to the next pose, number 5. The eyes are over here. So we got eyebrow. The eye shape is more open here. Eyelids. Okay. Let's grab the beard line. Mouth shape. Ear. The side of the head. Forehead. Top of the hair. Collar. Okay, so just with these few drawings, we'll already have a kind of general sense of what the motion can be like. And that's all we really need at this very early phase in the sketching process of the animation. And we'll do coloring and lighting and stuff later, but for now, this is fine. I'll just maybe add my poof ball for my hair. Let's go back here. Forgot to add it for this frame. Frame 4, I think the head goes like up, down, there. And there's a poof ball. All right, let's take a look without the other stuff. So the animation looks like this now. Oh, I forgot the nose. Let me do the nose here. So kind of got a straight line down. I'm just trying to keep it as the most minimal version of the drawing for now. Because again, you can always add details infinitely later. The details are never the issue. It's usually the broad strokes that become the issue in a lot of my animation work. So if we can get the broad strokes right in this early stage, then you're saving yourself a lot of effort. Cool. So let's take a look at that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. And I think for 5, I'm just going to have it maybe end after 40, frame 46. I don't think we need to hold it much longer. Maybe let's do a nice whole second. I'm doing 8 frames a second, so maybe let's do 48 so it has a nice spot to end at. It's like 6-second long animation at 48, 8 frames a second times whatever, 48 frames, or divide by 48 frames. That gives us our 6 seconds. So I'm gonna go to select. And then let's go into, let's close our flip book and see what we have now. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we can do now is kind of play with the timing. So for me, I want maybe frame 48. Let's make sure that the frames actually end there. The duration should be 6 seconds. There we go. And that kind of creates a perfect loop. Next thing we're going to add is the line, let's add more lines for the fingers and stuff. So let's turn on the visibility. So I'm just going to kind of go around each of these fingers here. And then go to this one. Kind of capture the different details of the knuckles. Same idea for frame 3. Just kind of getting those extra details for the knuckles. frame 4, and frame 5. Let's make sure we're getting that last knuckle there. Okay. So let's take a look at our flip book and hit play. So already we have kind of like a rough animation that is pretty accurate. But what we need to do now is kind of add those in betweens, the stuff that goes in between those existing shots. And yeah, we also want to add like any kind of secondary motion soon. We want to just kind of fill in all those details. So let's kind of work on the next stage of production, the in betweens. So let's go. I didn't know you can pause and play the animation from the pencil. If I squeeze the pencil, it pauses and plays. That's pretty neat. Cool. All right. So next thing we need are those in betweens that I was just speaking about. So what I would do at this stage is kind of make sure the timing is right. So I might want this to happen a little bit faster as I'm looking at it. So I'm just going to manually adjust the timing. And then for this one, we're going to slow this one down a little bit. Or sorry, speed it up a little bit. Head comes in. I think that's pretty good timing. Make it just a little bit shorter. Maybe this one, make it a hair shorter. So we get this kind of speed. That's good. We have a lot of extra frames now, but that's okay. Maybe I'll just continue to hold this position all the way through to the end of the 48. All right, and let's go back to the flip book, finish drawing, take a look at what we have so far. Okay, I love it. Simple, to the point. We got the rough shape, rough idea. I think we're ready to add some more in-betweens. So what I would now do is on top of this animation, you can add lots of layers and stuff. But what I might do is just kind of add what some of these in between frames ought to be. So instead of having this hold for one and then get to here, we have to think, if this is our first position, if our hand is kind of open, and then if frame two is where it needs to get, what we want to do is kind of draw that in between. Oh, but I want to keep the space there. Let's see, is there a way I can do that? There we go. So what's the in between? So I think if the fingers are kind of bent here, uh, and like the tips of the fingers are coming down, this would be the in between state before the fingers are all in position. So I can kind of think of this almost like the fingers are like straight on to camera, and the hand would be starting to fold in, and then the hand would be over here, and maybe the palm, we might see a little bit more of the palm of the hand or something. And then these would be like fingernails. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Seems a little abrupt. I don't know if we need that in between shot. Yeah, maybe we don't need that in between shot because it's kind of clear that the hand is going to be there. Does feel like it's jumping quite a bit. Mostly these three fingers don't, they feel like they moved too much. So let's go back, maybe put, a finger right around this area and then another one around there, another one around there. This might fix the problem because now the hand is closer to where it would be when it's bending. And then same idea, maybe we can kind of get the bottom of the hand like over here and less interference. Great. Okay, let's do a harder part, the head shape. So for this shot, I have a couple ideas on how to approach this. One idea I was thinking of doing is just hand animating this head to kind of swing in right here. So what I'm going to do for that is basically create a new drawing for that. and we're just going to puppeteer it. So let's go out of Flipbook, back to our main drawing board. And for this sequence, we're going to go and make a new drawing. So I'm going to start off by, actually, can I convert this to drawings? Is that an option? Convert Flipbook to tracks. Let's try that. Okay, cool. So now it's all like one layer. No more Flipbook, is it? Oh, I see. The Flipbooks are still in there. Oh, look at that. The drawings are already there. Great. So what we can do is take this drawing. I'm going to take this drawing and I'm going to puppeteer it entering into the frame. So what do I mean by that? Well, in Procreate Dreams, they have this really cool ability to let you drag the performance that you want. So if you go to perform, you could actually, let me turn off perform. I'm going to start with the drawing over, actually, you know what? Let's do keyframes. So I need the object to be here on the last keyframe. So I'm going to set that as the key to move. And then at the start, I want it to start maybe over here. And so now he enters into the frame like that. Isn't that interesting? But it looks like it moved the other ones too. I don't want it to move the other ones. So let's make sure. Oh, weird. It moved everything else. I only wanted to move the drawing. Let me see. I don't like how that came out. Also, how the hand moved so much. Wonder what happened there. That's in the right position now, right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to get this object to enter into the frame nicely. And the idea that I had for that, it's not exactly working. So I'll just do a new drawing. We're going to create a new drawing layer right above this, and using this really as the guide, uh, just kind of filling in these forms. And I'm also just going to kind of close off the shape so that it'll be easier to fill with color when we get to that stage of the animation. I don't know where the bottom of the arm is going to go yet. So I got that line. And I don't know. Let's see. Maybe the elbow is like over there. Cool. Okay. So this is a new drawing that we've done on top of the previous drawing. And what's convenient about this is this drawing is a separate layer. So what we can do is for this moment we can crop the flip book, or even, yeah, we could just do new drawings now. So we have one, two. So maybe right around here, what we could do is animate the head of the character coming in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to animate the hand separately. So let me go to this drawing here and go to edit the drawing. And we're just going to erase this hand and just kind of create this line right there. And make sure it's fully enclosed so that when we do our color filling in later, it'll actually connect. Go back to drawing, go back to the finish. And what we're going to do is just animate this in. So you see how this shot only lasts from here to about here? That's the window of time that we have. So I'm just going to help it along by grabbing the end of this key. I don't know how to grab the end of this drawing. There we go. Kind of fit it to that shot here. Maybe draw it in one frame. So just for this duration. And what we're going to do is we can keyframe it to get to this position. So maybe it starts over here and then it animates in. Maybe we'll give it a little bit more time. You see how that now gets to that position? That's cool. So during that window of time, we can either hide this flip book or just do something different with it. We also need to draw that hand and make sure the hand is actually staying in place. So let's get it there. Yeah, because instead of the head just appearing out of thin air, let's actually have it as a drawing. So I'm going to make a new drawing layer. And we're just going to now draw the hand. And great. Okay. And we're going to make sure that this drawing of the hand is already essentially in the frame for that whole duration. Okay. And now we can maybe hide our flip book. So we want the arm to come in, and then can I cut this track somehow? Let's see. Convert track to flip book to tracks. Let's try that. And then go to right about here. Can I make a cut? I don't know why I'm forgetting how to do basic. Oh, yeah, split content. There we go. So let's just split it and then snap it there. So now the hand comes in, and then the head comes in a little bit later. Might want it to give a little bit of an overshoot kind of effect. So on this keyframe, maybe have it happen a little bit earlier. And let's do a tiny overshoot. So the overshoot is when you kind of have the animation go past a maximum. Oops. Set it to keyframe. So on this keyframe, I want it to go past its maximum limit here, just a little bit. Maybe I'll go a little bit more subtle than that. So we're here, we're going there. So let's just kind of push it a hair forward. There you go. So it kind of just creates a little bit of motion. Okay. Now we're back on this shot. We're going to do a new drawing. Yeah. So let's do that. Add a new drawing. And I'm going to keep the character without much hair for now, just so it's a little bit easier for me to animate without having to think too much about what exactly we're doing. And then for the other shoulder, see the neck would be over there, maybe like that. So I'm just going to animate this all as one blob of a body. I'm just drawing the lips here, lower lip. Great. I don't know if we're going to do the same hairline, but I might as well just Um, add it. All right, great. Let's go back to the drawing and let's see how long we hold this pose for before we turn. Right about there is where we would want to split it. So we're going to take this layer on the compose, long press, split the content, and then delete this track. I think we could probably keep the hand there, right? Because the hand was kind of the same hand both instances. And then for this one, we're just gonna have the hand, the body kind of just stay mostly in place. One change we're gonna do is adjust the just the rocking. So if we go to our keyframe control here and go to perform, just gonna hold on to it for a second, and then that just gave it a few little keyframes of movement. Maybe I won't do an up down motion, but rather a let's reperform that. Just a little jitter. There we go. Okay. Very good. Very good. Is it like an animation transition? Yeah. We're kind of like animating traditionally right now. And I just had like an idea in my head, a few different poses. We started off with animation reference, and now I'm showing the process of kind of turning that reference into something else. I also should put in the doorway. I did imagine a doorway here. Um, you can kind of see where that hand, where the hand is flowing is kind of like the doorway. So right around there. So I'm just going to make a new drawing as well. Let's just make the door green for now. Just a green line ought to do. Great. I'm just going to move it so that it's nice and snug with the wall, the hand. Great. And then we're going to make sure that this drawing is placed on a lower layer beneath the hands. Cool. So now we have something like this. All right, let's do the next pose. I mean, we kind of already have it. I might just modify the drawing a little bit here. We're going to get rid of some stuff, like mostly the hair, just so I can make the design a little bit more simple for the first pass and clean up some of the lines here. Getting rid of the kind of jacket outfit. I'm going to make the whole animation maybe 5 seconds long. Okay. So just like before, we need to come up with in-betweens that get us from these positions to the new poses by doing like a drawing in the middle. So let's take, for example, this frame, which the head's kind of turned this way, right? And we need to get to that spot. If you think of these like keyframes, it becomes kind of friendly to get from one pose to the next. So I'm going to create an extra drawing right in the middle here. Actually, this might be better to convert to a flip book. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take these two layers together, long press and say convert to flip book so that we can flip through the flip book, right? So now we can get from that pose to that pose very easily. And this will allow us to also see the drawings before and after on the face. What's nice is that you get this kind of like purple looking drawing of where your original was. This is called an onion skin. And the yellow drawing is where the future is going to be. And then the black drawing is what our current frame is. So we're trying to get from here to here, right? From frame 7 to frame 8. We need another frame in between the two to justify this transition. So I'm going to go to frame 8 and click on the new frame button. Maybe move that frame. Wait, let me undo that. I'm going to go to frame 7, click the new frame button. So now we literally have a blank frame in between. And you want to do kind of these head turns, you got to think, where are my limbs going? So this is the eye right on frame 7. It's right there. And if it's going to get all the way over here by frame 9, that means at frame 8, this left eye might be somewhere around here, right? And then that also means this other eye would probably be somewhere around here. So I usually try to start with like eyes when I'm doing head turns, but I know that's not the most wise decision. Other smarter illustrators, animators, what they'll do first is they'll do the largest shape first. So maybe we should do that, like the head position. So if we take the whole head here, that looks like a head that's kind of in between the other two heads, right? That's one position, one extreme. Then we go to this position, then it's here. It's close, but still not doing it. The other trick people do, other animators, is they will literally draw a circle to represent like the back of the skull, and then they'll see where it's going to go here, right? So if it has to go from here to there, what's in between, and then kind of like a Venn diagram, they'll go like right there. And now you can at least start getting the right head mass in the right direction. And then the lower jaw for myself is kind of like a trapezoid. So we could just do a very basic trapezoid shape, kind of curving the edges afterwards. But let's start off with like a basic trapezoid and just see if that head shape flows. It's okay. I think we can do better. Let's make sure there's an ear in here, maybe another ear over there. Almost feel like we need another head turn before we get there. Like a position closer to this extreme before we get here. So let's add a new frame. And we got our head shape, right? We got our big circle here for our noggin. And then we have this kind of like trapezoid like shape for the face. So maybe a close second position would be kind of rotating this guy over here and kind of placing it over there, maybe adjusting the skull shape a little bit wider on the frame. Yeah, something like that. And then you could take the head eyebrow range. Maybe we start to see the left eye form right there. This should be where the right eye is. We got our nose and we got our mouth. Let's kind of bring out a little bit more of a cheek. Let's just see, is that flipping right? Now this doesn't look right, but let's go ahead and erase this line. Might kind of help my brain to better interpret this pose. Where's the eyebrows at? Does seem like that's quite a bit of a jump. And when in doubt, you could also um, look at your reference again. I could actually look at my head turn in real life and kind of trace that motion. But I wanted to see what I could do without it. But I am someone that kind of needs a lot of tracing to get my illustration idea out of there. So I got super focused there for a second. Okay, so what we have is kind of this motion. Let's look at the whole thing. So you can kind of see what that motion is going to look like. I think this head coming into the frame needs to happen over, it needs to start from much further outside. So I'm going to convert this back into tracks so we can animate on it. Oh, weird. It won't let me convert this. Hmm. I guess you can't edit a flipbook forever. Okay, well, then we'll just manually animate it. So that's frame one, and then frame two, frame three, frame four, frame five, and then frame six. So from frame five, I'm just going to have it overshoot a little bit and tilt. So it just kind of creates a little bit more mass. So I get kind of this motion. Don't know what this last frame is doing over here. What's going on over there? It's just weird overlap. Ah, I see the issue. Let's make sure this frame ends there. So kind of grab in and move the head. It's close. I just got to fix these in betweens to actually feel more like me. I might even have better luck just going back to the flip book and pulling a new illustration. Oh, wait, that's drawing. We don't want drawing. We want flip book. Where'd you go? Oh, there's the flip book. Yeah, because like this head shape doesn't look like me at all. It's like the eyes change. A lot of stuff changes there. Like this whole, like that doesn't look like me. Um, so what do I look like? Okay, definitely struggling here. Start with the head turn, then a body rotation. That definitely would help. Makes the process easier to understand. His hand has to move. Test to sketch. A lot of keyframes for 5 seconds in length. I know, huh? It's too many. I thought this would be kind of like a quick process, but it's definitely feeling like it's going to be a lot longer. But it is cool that it works at all. Yeah, I work better in 3D models because you don't have to redraw everything every frame. But I am trying to make something kind of cool, and it does involve, a bit more precision than what I'm used to doing. Okay. I think his head turns like upwards too much. I think that's my issue. Or having my face too low. Maybe I'll like just raise his face position up a lot more on this frame. It's not great, but eh. And then maybe I'll grab this face here, make it a little bit smaller in the frame, and just kind of move it a little bit closer to the direction. That's a little bit better directionally. I think the ears got too big on this frame here. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's kind of a lot of frames, but that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Gosh, animation the old way takes so long to do anything. It's like a whole journey. All right, let's grab the next set of stuff. Um, I'm going to group these drawings together. I'm going to move these drawings up to here. And then can I convert this and this together? Convert to flipbook. Okay. So now edit flipbook. we should have a moment before it switches head positions now. So we go from here to there. So let's add a keyframe in between. All right, so let's start with the bottom of my chin. I think if that's my chin here and that's my chin over there, we need to split the difference. So I'm going to kind of start off with the same shape, grab the transform, place it there, twist it. This should be really the midpoint of the chin rotation. Keeping up with the T axis. My lips are probably right about here. My bottom lip's right there. Maybe a little bit higher because I have a lot of beard hair. Let's kind of bring the lips there. Maybe the bottom of the nose. Start to kind of angle this way. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we're just going to make it happen. We got the eyes. And ears. Looks like my head shrinks a lot. So I'm going to scale it up a little bit. Hmm. I think at a few frames a second, that's going to pass. Cool. I think that works, at least for my purposes. Fix the front angle, the lineup. Oh, of his hair. Oh, good call. Let's see how to do that. I mean, these ones look so different. Like one looks like cartoon proportions, the other one looks like a real person. I think it's usually the eyes that would do that, right? So let me take the eyes and just kind of scale them down a bit. Cool. It's something. It is so good on every other frame. Can't let that one skip. Thanks, friends. And that's what I got so far. How long has it been? Oh my god, that was an hour of work. Jeez, traditional animation is insane. It takes a long time and it doesn't even look that good. I'm gonna have to pause, but I kind of just wanted to start this process. It is, I think I need to shoot more reference. I think if I edit my video reference first and then go into animation, I'll probably be faster. I think the error I made today was kind of not editing my reference down first and trying to edit my drawings. I think if I had edited my video to be the motion that I wanted, I think it would have worked a lot better. But yeah, that's all we have time for today, folks. Thanks for watching here on YouTube and also being here on Instagram. I think that's it for now. Let's see what we get. So I'm just gonna hit the stop button and hopefully it stops streaming, right? All right, thanks.